Rhodes University. As little as 2 decades ago, this campus lived under the shadow of apartheid. Yet today, none of the students know what it means to live without freedom. We're taught to remember apartheid, but many of us don't even know what it means. To try and understand this, I spoke to senior history lecturer, Dr. Kirkaldy. Dr. Kirkaldy was an activist here at Rhodes during the 70s and was arrested for high treason later in life. I asked him to try and explain his activism to me and the impact that it had on him.
One of the staff who better remember, I know that everything's now legal, but some habits die hard. Well, one of the staff recruited me to the ANC at the time. Then they used me a couple of times when I left campus. For instance, I took photographs of the Caltex oil refinery in Cape Town, which never got blown up. I'm quite sad it didn't, actually. But I took photographs to aid in an attack. I was eventually arrested in the period when they had announced Mandela's release and unbanned the ANC. But they hadn't yet released Mandela. And we all kind of relaxed and started moving openly. And they kind of arrested a whole lot of us at that time. The person that handled my arrest and interrogation was the same person that did Guy Berger. We kind of share. He took great delight in telling me that he was going to break me just as he had broken Guy Berger. And actually achieved that. I mean, I think anybody that tells you heroic tales of surviving solitary and things kind of might be making it up, because eventually they crack you.
Many of today's students feel lost without their own struggle, fighting to fill the shoes of the struggle heroes that they're taught to idolize. I asked Dr. Kirkaldy what there was for students, and even lecturers, now that the struggle is over.
People are involved in all sorts of other struggles. They're also free to do things that we just didn't have time for. I mean, I find my students are so multi-talented. They kind of play in bands and they write poetry and they do this and we wrote poetry, but it was all struggle poetry, which with hindsight was rather boring. The struggle's different. There should be struggles about democracy. There should be more struggle about democracy than there is. Your role is to criticize the state. Even if it's a legitimate government. I'm not saying the government's not legitimate. Okay, but I think your role is to hold it accountable. And sometimes we kind of forget that that's what we should be teaching people. We should be teaching people to be critical citizens rather than loyal citizens.